So, are we taking the car today, or your place? Let's go to a hotel. On my way back from the hospital, I saw my husband walking hand in hand with a young woman. Who in the world is she? She was dressed in revealing clothing, and I think she was over 10 years younger than my husband. She didn't look like someone from his work. Could it be an affair? Even though it was on the way back from a donor test for a disease he was diagnosed with. I somehow managed to keep my emotions in check and confronted my husband with a glare when he returned home that evening. I saw you walking with a young woman. What's that all about? Betraying me like this is the lowest. How could you do something so awful? What do you think you are? Do you think you're such a great woman? Marriage is supposed to be supported by the man, and the moment a woman stops being a woman, it's over. Men always want young and attractive women. What is he talking about? There's no way marriage can fall apart for such selfish reasons. It seems like my husband is trying to justify his cheating. I will never forgive him. You menopausal hag are not needed. Should I divorce you? Divorce? I've been thinking about it for a while, but you never get pregnant, and as a woman, you're finished. You look old, and you're completely unattractive, so I've wanted to leave you. That's why I cheated and was drawn to a younger woman. It's obvious, right? Fine, then let's get a divorce. But don't forget, you're the one carrying a big bomb in your body. And who's going to help you with that? My name is Kelly. I'm currently working as an office clerk at a small-sized business. Although I'm working as a clerk, I originally joined the company as a salesperson. I'm back. Welcome back. How was it today? Well, I got brushed off lightly. I'm sorry, I couldn't secure the deal even though it was a project our coworker had been warming up. Don't worry too much about it. It can't be helped, so don't get too down on yourself. He was the coworker responsible for my training. He was truly kind to me. He taught me everything from scratch about sales, and I was trying my best to follow his teachings, but I think my personality, not being very assertive and shrinking away at even a slightly domineering attitude, wasn't suited for it. My sales performance was always closer to the bottom, and I felt out of place in the company. Because it was a small to medium-sized business, everyone was talking about working hard together to increase the company's sales, but I felt like I was the only one holding everyone back. I wondered if I should quit, or maybe I should switch to a different profession. That's when I started to think. Can I have a moment? Oh, what's up? I heard we're looking for a new office clerk. That's right. The company has grown a bit, and we're thinking of adding more people to handle the administrative tasks. Do you know someone who wants to apply? Not exactly. I was wondering if it would be okay for me to apply. I've been trying hard in sales for the past 2 years, but I haven't been able to produce much results. I feel like I'm dragging everyone else down. Even when there's a good project, I can't make it a success because it's me. There have been many instances like that. So, if it's possible, I'd like to work as an office clerk. I see. To me, it seemed like moving to an office clerk position and filling the sales position from outside would be beneficial for the company. Of course, I felt sorry for the coworker who had trained me, but it was also a relief for me mentally. I understand. I've heard from other employees about the struggles you're facing, and I think you can handle administrative tasks to a certain extent, so if you're okay with it, let's go ahead and make that change. Really? But about the salary, it's going to be what an office clerk makes, is that okay? Of course. No problem at all. Understood. I started working as an office clerk right away, and since I only had to deal with employees I got along with, there was no need to be overly cautious or tense. Indeed, the salary was less compared to when I was in sales, but being able to work without accumulating stress truly brightened my days. Then, through an acquaintance, I started dating a man, and both my work and personal life were fulfilling. I vow to always cherish you. Will you marry me? Really? You really want to marry me? Of course. I'll always protect you. I was overjoyed to the point of tears when my boyfriend proposed. I had always lacked confidence in myself, believing there was no one who would want to marry someone like me. That had always been my belief, so the proposal overwhelmed me emotionally. Moving from sales to an administrative position was also one of my complexes. I couldn't properly handle even a single task given to me. I had been a negative thinker originally and had convinced myself of this for a while. Of course, while the stress from work had disappeared, the fact that my self-confidence continued to diminish was undeniable. That's why I vowed to cherish him, the one who chose me. In my heart, I swore that I would. After that, our married life began, and we lived a problem-free life as a working couple. However, hey, could you cover the living expenses? In exchange, I'll save up. You mean I pay everything? Yeah. I'll take out my allowance and save the rest. That's okay, right? This is one of my flaws, but when spoken to harshly, I find myself unable to talk back. I was only making a modest salary as an office clerk, so after paying for rent, groceries, and utilities, there wasn't much money left over. Upon getting married, we moved into a reasonably large apartment and, though it was used, we also bought a car. We had agreed to split expenses equally, so I assumed that's how it would be. Got it. But I'm a bit surprised. I had assumed we'd split everything. It's easier if you handle all the expenses, right? As for savings, I'll manage all of that, so don't worry. Well, if my husband says so, maybe it's for the best. Plus, if he's putting most of his salary into savings, I figure we could save up a substantial amount in a short period. We were hoping to have kids in the future, so I wanted to save as much as possible. That's why I accepted his proposal. However, after getting married, he started going out more at night. Hello, you're not coming home yet? I'm going out drinking with colleagues tonight, so I won't be home until late. Again? What? I'm not your parent. Don't butt into my private life. It's my business who I go out drinking with, isn't it? Yeah. Sure, we had agreed not to interfere with each other's private lives after getting married. And it's not that I'm against him going out to drink. It's just frustrating when he goes out without any communication. I get home earlier than him, so I cook and wait. There's a usual time he comes home, and I even prepare the bath, so I wish he would at least call. If he let me know, I'd just make something quick to eat and take a bath after finishing the chores. Just a simple message would do. I've brought this up a few times, but my husband didn't seem to care at all. Maybe he doesn't understand because he doesn't cook or do household chores himself. And then, his personality changes when he drinks. That's why I couldn't really say much. Hey, the lord of the house has returned. Welcome back. Oh, hello. Sorry, it seems he got pretty drunk. Sorry for the trouble. Thank you for bringing him home. Around midnight that day, my husband was brought home by a coworker he had been drinking with. He was so drunk he couldn't walk on his own. I couldn't help but be frustrated that he, being an adult, didn't know his own limits when drinking. Since he was drunk, saying anything to him would be pointless. I thanked the coworker who brought him home and took my husband to bed. He fell asleep right away and around noon the next day. Hey, got any medicine? Medicine? For what? What? Obviously, for a hangover. Why do I have to spell it out? You should have prepared that, knowing I went drinking. Sorry, I'll go buy some right now. Make it quick, and be back in 10 minutes. What does he think I am? I sighed but went to the nearby pharmacy by bike without a complaint. It was already winter, and just riding the bike made my dry skin on my face and hands painfully dry. If he's going to drink, he should buy his medicine beforehand. Why do I have to do this? As I went to buy it, I felt anger towards my husband bubbling up inside. I'm home. I got the medicine. You took your time. You're slow at everything. That's why you can only be an office clerk. Even though I went out of my way to buy it, not a single word of thanks. Can't even say thank you. I was truly appalled, but it's not like I was expecting anything from my husband. Well, someone who's used to bossing people around probably doesn't have gratitude in their vocabulary. So, he can't even say thank you. Well, it's not my problem. While complaining, my husband took the medicine from me, swallowed it, changed clothes, and then left the house. Going out again. It was his day off, so he can do whatever he wants, but I did wish he would help out with the chores a bit. I take care of everything during the weekdays, so it wouldn't hurt him to help out on the weekends. Even just one day, either Saturday or Sunday. But since we got married, my husband has never once helped out with the chores. Being the timid person I am, I thought I wanted a man who could take the lead initially. But now, thinking about it, he's just selfish and looks down on others. I was getting sick of these days, but then suddenly, one day. Can we talk? I have something important to tell you. Something important. Is it about work? No. It's about my illness. I've been feeling off lately, and I've been having trouble breathing even while working. So, I went to the doctor, and they found a disease. You're kidding, right? I was shocked by my husband's revelation since I always thought of him as someone strong who rarely even caught a cold. My husband having a disease. I never imagined it, nor did he show any signs. However, according to him, the disease is quite advanced, and he needs an organ transplant as soon as possible. We need to look for a donor, so it's not immediate, but the situation seems pretty serious. So, you don't need to be hospitalized? They gave me some medication, so I should be okay for a while. But I do need a donor, so I need you to go to the hospital this weekend for a test. If you're a match, I'll need you to be the donor. When my husband told me that, something deep inside me skipped a beat. Of course, if there was anything I could do for my husband, I wanted to extend all the help I could. That's what marriage should be about, after all. However, if possible, I didn't want to donate an organ. One reason was that my husband hadn't been treating me with the respect and care a wife deserves. To him, I seemed like just a tool to be used at his convenience. The only time I felt cherished as his wife was during the first month of our marriage. Additionally, I was scared of undergoing surgery. Of course, facing someone in need of a donor, saying I'm scared of surgery shouldn't really be an excuse. Being mentally fragile, I understood what needed to be done but couldn't bring myself to make that decision. So, what was the outcome? It was a match. We can schedule the surgery for a day that works for you. I took a day off work the next day to go for the testing at the hospital. I hadn't told my husband, but the result was a match. I could save my husband's life, that was the outcome. No matter how much my husband might not cherish me, he was still my partner whom I had married. Of course, the surgery scared me, but I resolved to donate my organ for my husband. However, that day. Should we take the car today, or go to your place? Let's go to a hotel. On my way back from the hospital, I saw my husband walking hand in hand with a young woman. Who in the world was she? She was dressed in revealing clothes, and I think she was more than 10 years younger than my husband. She didn't look like someone from his work. Could it be an affair? Indeed, my husband often came home late at night, but I thought it was just because he was out drinking with colleagues. However, was he actually spending those nights enjoying himself with a mistress? There he was, right in front of my eyes, walking hand in hand with a younger woman. This was unbelievable and a complete betrayal to me. My head went blank, and I was in total panic, but my husband left without even noticing my state. I took a deep breath, somehow managed to calm myself down, and went home. That evening when my husband came back, I confronted him with a glare. I saw you walking with a young woman. What's that all about? Oh, you saw that? Yes, I did. Betraying me like this is the lowest. How could you do something so awful? What do you think you are? Do you think you're such a great woman? Marriage is supposed to be supported by the man, and the moment a woman stops being a woman, it falls apart. Men always want young and attractive women. What is he talking about? There's no way marriage can fall apart for such selfish reasons. It seems like my husband is trying to justify his cheating. I will never forgive him. He's been using me all this time, probably because he no longer sees me as his wife. My suspicions were correct. To him, I'm nothing significant. Just a convenient existence who pays the living expenses and takes care of the house and meals. How dare he look down on people? You're not going to do something like this and not be accountable for it, are you? Yeah, maybe. A menopausal hag like you isn't needed. Should I divorce you? Excuse me? I've been thinking about it for a while. You can't get pregnant, and as a woman, you're finished. You look like an old lady, and you're utterly unattractive, so I've wanted to leave you. That's why I cheated and was drawn to a younger woman. It's obvious, right? This is ridiculous. What does he think marriage is? I never thought he looked down on me to this extent. But, having it said so plainly, I actually felt relieved. He was sick, and he was my partner whom I had married. I thought I might have some mixed feelings, but now I've completely let go. He wants a divorce? Then, I'll gladly grant it. But let this be clear. I will never forgive what he has done. If you want a divorce, I'll give it to you. But don't bother me anymore. You better not come back begging for a remarriage. I'm cutting all ties with you. Understood. I said that and had him sign the divorce papers. The divorce was finalized quickly, and since the apartment lease was in my ex-husband's name, I left, and our life together ended. Then, I started preparing for alimony claims and contacted him a month later. I didn't want to talk to him directly, so I had the lawyer who helped me with the alimony claims contact him, but that evening, my ex-husband called me multiple times. I didn't want to talk to such a person or hear his voice, but thinking I should spill all my feelings, I decided to pick up the phone. Hey. What do you mean you were the organ donor? That was the first thing my ex-husband said. I hadn't told him at the time of our divorce, but the day I found out about his affair was the day I found out I could donate an organ to him. Looking back, if I hadn't known about the affair at that time, I would have unknowingly donated an organ to a betrayer. I thought to myself that God must be watching over me, and I decided then there was no way I'd donate an organ to him. Of course, not telling him anything was an option, but this was my form of revenge. While you were out enjoying yourself with a younger woman, I was worried sick about you and went through the organ donation tests. It turns out I'm a match, but I have no intention of helping a betrayer. Don't say that! If you don't donate, I'll have to start looking all over again. Please! Then tell me, what's in it for me? I see no benefit in donating an organ. It might sound heartless, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice my body to help my ex-husband, not even if there were benefits. Even if there had been some advantage, I couldn't bring myself to extend a hand to my ex-husband. The emotional wounds my ex-husband inflicted were deep, and I wanted him to understand that. I thought I was supposed to donate an organ because I was your wife. But who betrayed whom? Sure, but that's a different story. Just your cooperation could save a precious life. Life is equal, I believe that. There's no difference in the weight of lives, and everyone has the same value. But I couldn't see this monster, this mass of desires, as a person. Even if no donor was found in the end, that's just how it would be. It would only be what he had coming for what he's done all this time. That's all I could think of. I don't feel sorry for him if his illness gets worse, he can deal with it himself. If you get better and are let loose, there will just be more women who suffer like I did. Maybe it's better if you never get cured. What kind of thing is that to say to a sick person? You didn't give a toss about me, so why should I care about you as a sick person? Don't you see the contradiction in what you're saying? You're the one talking nonsense. What do you think human life is? I have more morals than you. But even denying that, I don't want to help you. Besides, I'm a stranger to you now. When my ex-husband realized I had no intention of donating, he seemed to slump, starting to make groaning sounds. How pitiful. I didn't feel a bit of sympathy for him and just wanted to end the call quickly. Is that all? Oh, and I think the lawyer has contacted you about the alimony. Make sure to transfer it properly. That's crazy, that much money? It's not crazy at all. You were the one who said you wanted to save up, so you wanted me to pay all the living expenses. But then it turns out you were just squandering money on your mistress. You think that's okay? This was revealed during the divorce, but the savings I thought we would divide, which my ex-husband claimed he had, were almost non-existent. Since I paid all the living expenses, I had the right to half of the savings. However, he had none because he had spent it all on his escapades. It was clear he had been betraying me from the start of our marriage. I will make sure to get the money I deserve. I don't have any money. Plus, I have a lot of expenses coming up. Right, moving out, paying me, and your medical bills. I wonder how you'll manage all that. If you understand, then why did you make such a claim? Because that's how you take responsibility as an adult in society. After more than a decade in the workforce, don't you know such basic common sense? I'm so appalled I'm at a loss for words. It's common sense. Besides, if you don't pay, I'll have my lawyer take it to court. If you're prepared for that, go ahead. My ex-husband must know he's 100% in the wrong, but he's probably hoping to somehow make me reconsider, knowing he'll be in real trouble if things continue as they are. No sign of remorse. If there was even a hint of regret, there might have been room for mercy, but it seems like people who betray others will always continue to do so. Wait a minute. That's just not right. If you do that, you'll regret it later. You'll definitely have days of regret. Absolutely. So what? No matter how you try to persuade me, my decision won't change. But I was gradually getting more irritated by my ex-husband's attitude. Sure, he must be shocked that I was the organ donor, and deep down, he's regretting his choices. But if he's regretting it, why isn't apologizing an option? A sincere apology. Before making excuses and spouting nonsense, shouldn't that be the first thing to do? Without an apology, all he said to me was, "You'll regret this." Does he think threatening me will make me donate an organ? With such a character, it's no wonder no one will ever come forward to help him. See, it's because you only think of yourself that nobody wants to help you. You don't think you've done anything wrong, do you? What? If you were a bit more reflective on what you've done, you could at least apologize, right? I'm asking if you're sorry for what you did to me. Of course, I'm sorry. So, about the organ donation. You apologize regardless of the organ donation, right? Then you apologize, you are asking me to donate my organs? You're kidding, right? Stop joking. No matter what I said, it was hopeless. Maybe I was foolish to have even a shred of expectation. Expecting such a person to reflect on their actions is futile. That's why I chose not to give him another chance, but to divorce him and make him pay alimony. I've had enough. Engaging with him any further is a waste of time, and I decided to put an end to it. I don't know what you'll do from here on, but I will never help you. Just keep that in mind. No matter the situation, my stance won't change. And about the alimony, if you can't pay, I'll have the lawyer take it to court. I ended the call with just that. From then on, I left all communications to the lawyer, so I didn't say anything directly to him, but he was definitely living a miserable life. Actually, he quit his job because of a stress-related illness. Stress caused it? Yes. He was terrified of not finding someone to donate an organ. Of course, it doesn't seem like his life is in immediate danger, but the excessive stress did him in. I was surprised that such a shameless character could feel stress. If he could feel stress, he should have been more considerate of my feelings. Then, he might understand how it feels to be cheated on or used like a tool, and how much stress that can cause. Well, even if he understood, I doubt it would have changed anything. But you got the alimony paid, right? How did he manage that? It was quite a sum. Oh, that? He must have borrowed it. Borrowed? Yes. It seems he borrowed a significant amount from consumer finance and used that to pay. But now, he can't repay it and has been contacting everyone he knows for help. He even tried to contact me, but I ignored him. You ignored him? After all he did to you, my dear friend, using and betraying you like that. He deserves it. Not only is he not getting help from his friends, but now he's also fighting against loneliness on top of his illness. Well, this situation is entirely his own doing, and I think it's a hard lesson learned. If he can't even understand how despicable his actions were and how much trouble he caused me, then as a person, he's finished. Well, he's finished, and that's probably why no one is reaching out to help him. But maybe his affair partner would stand by him? Like a sole source of comfort? No, they've already split up. Really? Yeah, you haven't heard? That person was only after his money, it seems. Moved on to another man already. I was honestly surprised that even his affair partner had left him. But, thinking about it, it makes sense. My ex-husband spent most of his earnings on his affair partner. That means he was spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on her. For an affair partner, someone spending that much money on them every month is nothing but an easy mark. But once she realized she couldn't squeeze any more out of him, she disappeared. Seeing him treated this way made me wonder if he'd end up distrusting people, but if he did, in the end, it's all his fault. Well, since he used and deceived me for so long, if he gets deceived and used himself, he can hardly complain. He's done the same thing. That's right. Well, we don't know what will happen to him from here, but it's none of our business anyway. You're right, thinking any more about my ex-husband is pointless. I've completely forgotten about him and am enjoying my second life. As an office worker, my salary is still low, and it's not exactly a fulfilling job. But being needed and appreciated by my coworkers makes me feel that it's good to be doing this job. I still think about the organ donation situation from time to time. Even considering everything my ex-husband did, there will always be people who criticize my decision to refuse organ donation. Morally, it might be argued that my choice was wrong. But everything is the result of the choices he made, and I have no regrets about mine. Whatever suffering he endures from here on out is none of my concern. Let him continue to suffer for his sins, that's how I see it as his atonement. Marriage isn't just about paperwork. It's a declaration of intent to support and help each other no matter what. But someone who easily betrays that commitment will eventually be betrayed themselves, and what they've done will surely come back to them. To avoid becoming like my ex-husband, I plan to continue valuing the people and environment around me and live my life accordingly.